And perceived autonomy, and is it safe to be a lone woman drinking in the UK? If you perceive organisation or you perceive things around you. No, it's not really, especially if it comes down to public house safety. Are public houses safe places for people that have got historically, like, I don't know what the effects of alcohol on a child mind if you drink even a sip of Guinness at the age of in the nappy. I mean, what would it do to a child's brain? I don't know. It's like, are there certain adults that are more vulnerable than I would consider so, yeah. I do remember most everything, most of the time. And if you jog my memory, I'll remember it. But there's occasion, like last year, August bank holiday, don't remember it, which is probably because it was the strength of the alcohol, 63%. But I think that there's organised potential around me because I didn't buy a drink in the pub. I did not spend physical cash. I did not use a bank card. So therefore, somebody put it in my hand, and the footage shows me being manoeuvred into a situation where they've kept me there for the CCTV, probably, potentially, because it's perceived crowd on this side. So it's like, are you keeping me in a holding area just for the CCTV footage? Is this manipulation? I'm on the back foot all the way out. It doesn't look, I'm being followed and intimidated, so you're looking for provocation. Vulnerability in adults, you're supposed to be taught about when you're in a pub environment like that, but they're showing all the opposite of tact and it's provocation. And it's like, autonomy, what is it? Like, when somebody is on someone's radar or there's organisation around you, you know it. It's just like, I can feel it and sense it instinctively, just because I'm a little bit like in my bubble and don't always register exactly what's what at any given time. I do know there's organisation around me, because I just described that in that video as a sort of potential cliquey around places, and the black eye from the black eye, and it's like, okay, is that part of that? Because like a year later she come back to live after that break, which she inspired with that, and she it was like, that really worked out because that's exactly what you wanted to do, have a time out, so you went and you run with that black eye. And that was where the break occurred. So the black eye that she gave herself, she exploited it, utilised it to its maximum potential with the person that was my Teo in the drum and bass sense that I was introducing her to, so because I want the very best for her, because that's what you do when you're friends and whatever lovers. There you go, have that. You know, there's you know, that's your Teo. You should be concentrating on that in life. You know, your drum and bass love, not any other thing else that's shady or weird. Go for your drum and bass. So, as like, I know if someone hasn't got a father figure, you can be a woman and feel like you're playing a father figure because you come from a happy marriage, or there's something missing in this person's psyche and makeup because her mum's a bit tapped. And no offense, a lot of mothers are tapped, but you know, yours I don't like, and that's supposed to be the healthy biases for a, you know, what you call uh, a mother-in-law. You know, when you like marry a girl, because that's how it feels. It's like, I don't like your mum. Say how it is. So it's like, that's the premises of a good relationship when you're not really a big fan of their mother, because it's like, I can see what your mum does sometimes. It's like, that's just immature as a mother. I mean, my mum's got her whole box of frogs immature ways, and it's like, that's the job, I think, of a prospective partner, is to actually just say, yeah, but it's all right once you figure it all out for yourself, because you don't need that other half to be that perspective on, you know, your limitations because of the portal which you come out of, your mother, whatever. So that's like there. And so she utilised that to the max. So fair play to her. Job done. That's what I was doing anyway. That's who I was pretending to be, someone that loved and cared for you. So yeah, well done monopolising that black eye. It just meant that I couldn't go my way, which would have been that way more, because I didn't, you know, you can't. So it's like, totally selfless thing to do. You're all right, you're welcome. You know, it's like, it is what it is. I don't even care. I don't even care. But the point is, I don't know what the point is. Oh yeah, organised perceptions of society around you that are fucking with you. You're like, autonomy. But I know it's a bit too late for that, because I know that I've exposed myself on the social media all over the place, and I know that there's a certain aspect that's coming in for me, and it's just unshaky and it's not fair. It's like I feel like my mum's cancer treatment's like a fucking agent or something. I don't. The bloke in the Macmillan looked famous. I was like, pretty sure I know this face. Who's he? He's from Filmland. He's from fucking Music World. Who are you? There's a person sitting there, and he's even on the front of the Zinfandel wine bottle. There's a cartoon character look like of him. I'm like, what is going on? Is this a new realm or something? But it's just like, it's like, what is it? Where's my agent? Where's my person to fight in my corner when they keep curling in? Or if people are going to be curling in and I don't know what the aspects are. What are you trying to do? Manipulate my time? I shouldn't be doing anything in punishment where my time is manipulated out of the care of my own mum and my dad. It's like things out of your hand. I know they want the best for me, and they know that there's aspects of me that are unhappy. But you know what? Quality time. This is great. I'm having. This is as good as it gets to a certain degree in life, isn't it? Isn't it really? Isn't it? It's as good as it gets. The time that is just your own time, having your own time, autonomy. What is it? It's like people get bored if they're not working on, they're not signing on. But I could never proclaim to be bored, because Garfield. That was what I was getting at, wasn't it? Garfield. You could enlighten it all in one word. Garfield. Living the life, isn't it? Garfield. Now, if the internet wasn't a thing, I might be bored. But I could go all day gaming. I haven't had an Xbox for years. I haven't had a console for years. If I had a console and a fucking gaming chair, oh my god, I'd feel like a king. I'd feel like royalty. Because I've been like literally in a state of neglect for like myself since getting kind of a little bit depressed by the authorities in 2016 for fucking throwing that book at me for just walking down the road minding my own business. You come at me threatening me with kidnap, you're gonna get called an IC3, and you might have a word attached like CUNT. After the week that I had where I was getting physically assaulted by a big Nigerian bouncer because of this other dude walking in, that I had a conversation about, talking about religious and racial. I was having a racial conversation. That's not racism. I said Snoop Dogg in the 80s, and the 80s bought, but I'm not from Alabama. I don't wear a white hood, and everybody who's skate generation was calling each other black, but using the German word, and everybody was rolling around skates, and it was just like, yo, yeah, because white working and lower class people are actually honorary. Yeah, they are, because they are, and it's like your Teo or your perception or your arc. Let's call it an arc. So white hoods had a little arc in Alabama. That's an arc, a historical arc that is unrelatable to personally my demographic place in time that didn't know about this. And then it's like another arc is that there were black knights of the table, the realm. So they're a small demographic with their own little arc, which you could say is total integration well before we taught to believe there was integration. Then there's the black workers that were probably in places of a little bit more curiosity, the Victorian well-travelled that had been around the globe, that have got their own scullery staff, which is probably the best job you can get as a working class person, but might happen to be black in the Victorian times. So that is an arc that's not being told. But so the people that believe the arc that's being taught in a school across the board is like black history. So is it though? But it's not that black person's story who's the knight, and it's not that black person's story who's the scullery maid, and it's not that black person's story, and it's definitely not King Jaffy Joffa's story, and it's definitely not the black man that sold the black slave in from Africa in the first place, and it's definitely not a lot of parts of Africa that really benefited probably when they come over but just before the World War II's, or the European Union and made their little states to be safe houses from the wars and the bombs dropping, because they were planning it. Probably on behalf of a place like, at the time, Somalia. Apparently they didn't like Jewish people. And it was something to do with something. But that's not an arc that's told, where you just look at the arc, it's in front of us. So that arc anyway. So in the 80s, I digress, everybody was using a word and it was claimed as just cool. And then Snoop Dogg come along and made it even more like a rich person's demographic. Like, yo, you got to be cool and you got to be in that arc to be use that word. So it's like it's desirable to use the word that you were brought up thinking was okay. But then it got along come another generation that are just Black history. You can't use that word. Only black people can use that word. That's like making it an elitist club and just like then becoming like you. Yeah, we have to do that. And then there's sort of another demographic that just want total integration and deny parts of their history, but you're allowed to accept it all. Anyway, to have a racial conversation and say, well, if a black person crossed me and I didn't like them, I would definitely not call them by that word because to me that's too cool and trendy. And that's a racial conversation that basically makes a mockery of people, hateful or judgment of somebody just using a word. And that's why people keep trying to claim it, because it's like, don't be like some elitist thing that you can only use that word. It's German for black. And it was colorized and it obliterated any whitehood association. So anyway, I see it as like, then it's like black elitism, isn't it? And if a white person's not allowed to say it, that isn't related to anything in Alabama, you're trying to shrink the little guy, the white guy that has their own demographic and place in time. But okay, I won't say it just in case people misconstrue it or they do whatever or whatever. So anyway, this particular week, this person had assaulted me. An assault is kind of traumatic, and it was actually a double assault because an assault and an assault. And then that's an assault and that was an assault. The person that assaulted me long before, I had my mind taken off of because I was living with a girl that gave herself the black eye, and he walked into the club and I'm pretty sure he inspired the attack of the other guy. They just happened to be IC3s, let's criminalise. And then the IC3 female started work on her first day on the pub that I've been drinking in for a year, trying to find my stage feet. And she said I had to leave the club because I looked unhappy. And then I inadvertently got barred because I sustained injuries from a bus, supposedly. But it was one of those moments where I walked out of the club. Someone gave me a toke on a spliff that was sitting outside. It's a staple of the place, who talks about losing time and is an eccentric mad person. Who says, and I walked out. I said, "Yeah, I'm a bit pissed off. There's a group of people in there that bully me on Facebook and accuse me of this, this, this." And it was like, and then I went like that. And then literally I couldn't remember a thing. I woke because I come round in Lewisham in a room like, what the fuck, like shell shock, and it's like, what was that? I was like, where's my coat and bag? So I went straight back to this offending pub, and I said, did I leave my coat back? No, and I said, and the same security started on the door, and she was like, isn't she barred? She was like, no, I didn't bar. Like, I'm not, went in there, had a few pints. And then another security guard started, he's like, aren't you barred? And it was like, no, it was like, no, I didn't bar. I was like, okay, fine. And then this little skank that drinks in there that was also bullying me, not a jolly Roger, he was like, basically, come and talk to this security man. Another one side. And he just took one look at me and I was like, what? Because I had the injuries. And he goes, yeah, whatever. Why am I digressing? The point is, he wasn't barred. He goes, yeah, you need to leave because I had the thing on my face and I think it happened then. I was like, what? What was that? Anyway, I was having a really bad week. And then the policeman couldn't threaten me with that. And I felt like all that part of my commune is dropping off because I'm not going to go to those places because I obviously feel like there's a threat or perceived threat. And it's somehow cliquey and organisy and really trying to throw shit at me, like in the form of like past first relates. And now this person who blatantly trespassed upon me walks in a pub and then gets a man to attack me with a badge, and then I call the police to try and get my guitar back because he's keeping it, won't let me get my own guitar back as a malevolent little joke. And it's like, what have you been through in life? Bullying, shit, cliquiness, attempts at sexploitation, exploitation. What haven't I been through? Okay, so can I get, please come. They turn up. I'm upset out front, and then put me in cuffs, make a show out of me. All these little goldsmithians, very cliquey, and even the things that are actually in spotlights and stuff are just carrot dangling things and vices and other such stuff. And it's like, why organise and be pikey cliquey, tinker tailor suit sailory around people? Why do that? I don't understand. Anyway, so the perceived threats, autonomy, and the fact that that's a malevolent premises based upon malevolent premises is organising is just wrong, isn't it? It's like, this isn't a fight, a battle or whatever for somebody in the spotlight or a media thing. I've done like decorate around film sets and other things and I know what I'm shining for and what I'm trying to achieve, and it's by far removed from egoic things, and it's based upon a very like strict working class background where it's forced down certain roads. And I'm like, by no way like saintly, oh, how do you cure homelessness? It's not something that plays on my mind 24/7 or some shit. It's just like, oh, this is my tale, and it's presenting me with people that have given me the solutions inadvertently, just from the fact you're popping open squat buildings, and the fact that I used to be a town centre warden, and the fact that my brain just connected the dots when that's something that could so be a thing, yeah. And with that planted seed, it just grows in potential, and it's just something you just daydream, just pops into your head, not something you're fixating on as some saintly goal, but it's something that is achievable and would make for limitless abundance with content creation and other such factors, and it just doesn't go away as a potential cure for town cities to poverty, basically, in a nutshell. It cures poverty as an outside runner, as an outside design, outside of a governmental picture. And it shouldn't be a threat to them, so you can all fuck off and go fuck themselves from the arse end of nowhere to backward water. If you want good for people, you let this design fly, and you fuck off what you think you know, trying to bring people down in depreciation or detriment. I ain't got no time for them. And there's no mental health here in question, other than the actual magistrates in courtroom number 1 and the people testifying against me and anybody else that wants to testify against me. Mental health, you want to talk about mental health? I have no problem with that. People have problems with confident people. People have problems with jealousy. People have problems with, oh, this person's singing, oh, this person's talking to other females, oh, we're LGBT hating actually on the quiet. Greenwich. Misogyny, high. I perceived that a lot growing up, yeah, definitely. But it is, it's that whole imbuing around public houses and the potential threat. Because I walked into a pub only yesterday and someone saying, all right, mate. And I'm thinking, who the fuck? Like, I should be in LA, is what I say some days. I'm in the wrong place. I'm on the wrong timeline because I'm still in a compromised position where it's like my mum's leading me by the nose, and she led me to dentists that gave me mercury fillings at the age of 7, so I don't think she's the brightest tool in the bunch, or she's actually a really submissive woman that might be thine enemy on a generational scale. Not that I'm not sure that she's aware that she's just submissive to negative energy, like a lot of our parts of our community and demographics are. And a lot of women are loyal to the compromises of other women's safety because they perceive being gay as wrong, or a lesbian as wrong, or anything that challenges their concept of what life is as wrong. I don't judge. Everybody's been challenging my concept of what's fucking good or decent since the day I had self-awareness. Like, I quit my job the minute you teach me how to give a person ticket for dropping a cigarette butt or doing anything. I'm not taxing the overtaxed. My perceptions of what I see and read are real. I, as I said in the first one, am autonomous. And the minute you do give me something energetically that is going to depreciate my appreciation of other people, I'm not going to do it for any amount of money. Now you can say, oh yeah, but people have to make a living. That's submissive and subservient in supposedly what could potentially be a new age where we shift that depreciation and detriment of other people. Because my dad's received something like £1,000 in parking fines with a blue badge from a hospital. Imagine that. So it's like, okay, so he's got a blue badge and now he's got how many tickets and it's just like over £1,000 in parking tickets from a hospital, because there's so many little loopholes. Like, you got to put the reg in there, and if you park in that particular one, that one's only 4 hours on this one and this one and this one. So it's like, how the fuck do you manage that? So yeah, no, I don't. No, there's no excuse. I mean, no. People, smugglers, don't give a fuck. Dope, get them people out of Istanbul now. Shouldn't be in the fucking prison. Not as a UK citizen. Not as a UK citizen. They should not be in that fucking Istanbul jail. Get them out now. Not okay. Given cure relief and the leaps and bounds of what we've come through. Dope's dope. Whatever. Alcohol is detrimentally, I'm telling you the dangers of alcohol, because it's totally lost people's autonomy in some levels. The manipulation that I've experienced around it, absolutely detrimental to my life, Teo. Over it now. 2016, very depressed because of racist, religious, aggravated harassment in words and writing, because I thought they were throwing that book at me because I was there filming a unity march, and I hadn't even seen the film Anonymous. I didn't know why the police might be so malevolent around a place, or why might earmark or target someone wearing yellow high-vis. But after the week that I just said I had, wow, they did get an earful, I tell you that. It's like they left a coat and a bag hanging off my cuffs after just slamming the cuffs on me. And I had a year's worth of nerve damage just for using the word beep, beep. I see free beep. What's worse? The only reason that I was in custody for 24 hours is because I used a descriptive word for a criminal. But I've been taught to do that on my wages, so that's why I did. Oh, governor. So anyway, yeah, an hour and a half in a cage with the things on. And it's like, you got a year's worth of nerve damage just for that, for making your way home silently, mind your own business. And that's what happened. And then I was 24 hours in a cell, and you send me to court for that. And if I had a good solicitor, I would have said non-consent to that total manipulation in a public place. It was a drunken disorderly, but for you to do that, I didn't know you do that to every drunken disorderly, so it gave me a lot. So I was just depressed and didn't even bother applying for work, security work after that. I was just like, what's the fucking point? Fuck this shit. I just can't be asked. And I did, yeah, joke. So there you go. But autonomy. So I think, if anything, it's a lesson in autonomy. And it's like, that's the most important thing. And until you've been manipulated to the extent that I have, and so much shit happening around me, because of some of it is this, because it's a big gap. You can hypnotize people, apparently. You can apply scrapamine around certain parts of organised society, apparently. It's like, it's a bit dodgy. I need a babysitter, mum, still. Thanks. So it's like that. So that's where it's, it is what it is. And, people don't know. So it's best that you know. Don't drink as a lone woman on your own. Don't walk into a pub as a lone woman. Don't hang out with certain clique, because click far reaching. Click just wants to take your integrity. Click this, click that. Don't walk into a pub, and if someone says, all right, mate, as if you just react like that, it's like, who are you? Who programmed you to think that I'm that person that's going to say, all right, mate, if I don't know you? I mean, not everybody's the same, are they? Some people are just a conquest, a thing to tick off we got at this one again. It's like being got at. I think there was one rapper that used that, being got at. There's a female, I think she's from New York, was it? Because there's more. Should I go on about being got at and perceived, like, premises around the corner? It's supposed to be sheltered housing. Sheltered from what? If you haven't got CCTV and a crime occurs there, if people follow a lone woman home from a pub, if people know that you're performing in a local pub, and then they organise getting to know a neighbour so they can facilitate that attack and abuse that happened on that particular occasion, and then you're actually too scared to stay at the place, so you're not paying any rent arrears, because as far as you're concerned, you heard a hag laughing downstairs, ha 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 ha, and she gave me £10 on that occasion, because I thought I'd keep her sweet. And then I went home, digested it, and then gave her a tirade of abuse and said she will get it coming to her if I see you, if I fucking see you, and gave it to her like that, because quite frankly, it's supposed to be sheltered. And that was a set-up situation, because those Fraggles were in that pub when I did my first ever solo performance, when I was trying to actually make my way to a place where I would be a success as a singer. But are the security allowed to be singers is the question. Are you allowed to be a self-made rock and roll type icon person? Are you allowed to be an Amy Winehouse when you know and you know and you know? Oh, Laura likes a bit of dabbly dabbly dabbly. Oh yeah, well, nah, you can't manipulate that one. I'm happy to do it sober, sober. Although a little glass of red wine goes a long way when you're singing, doesn't it? Hey, as many as sing I know. So there you go. And that's my blogging. And I don't want a flogging, because I might have called myself the new Jays, but please. Closest thing you're going to get, no regret, but hedge your bets, these fucks are still trying to, oh, we watch as they kill our prophets. Fuck off, isn't it? Fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. I'm just a royally boned lineage that smoked a spliff, and yeah, we say it is Illuminati Congo. You know, they're very enlightening people that have done the bongs and the chung and the ching, and especially if you're into the higher learning and ciphering information like me. Doesn't make me a prophet, it makes me a person. So don't fucking use that Bob Marley fucking line on me, you cunts. How much longer will we kill our prophets? Fuck off. You know, you feel it all. I felt it all. I know what exists in our society. I don't know if I attribute that to taking hallucinogens, but until you've walked in these shoes and felt the experience and met the people you met, and met the persecuted people in the likes of I don't want to name names, but I wrote a poem about him. Ravensbourne, Ravenhill, Ravens, the esoteric, the Masonic, that they opened, you know, shops in the deregulating times of weed, and then they got busted when then start getting busted. So then they put them in the mental health system because they got delusions of grandeur, because they're walking around with their tops off and they're walking like Jesus Christ and stuff like that. So they're like parts of a commune that you see it in elders. You're supposed to learn from them. So you say you learn from them and basically learn from this. If you experience the knowing, the oneness, see it all, and have these transcendental experiences, almost like that human of the humans, just for a moment, and you know, and then you become aware of everything. It's like, oh, I've read The Sun my whole life, but now it's like, it's almost like, whoa, sensory perception of the people that invest in the egoic plays and the certain other things. I can do that, and I can walk around and be like, fuck me, and it's a gift, and it's gone. Sometimes it comes with cycles, because the effects of waters on the body and stuff, and it's the more antenna like you become, just more like it's like it's like subidi senses. And the way people think, if you're into, like, you know, in India where people decorate all their vehicles and it's all really colourful, if you do anything with your vehicle, if you stand out like that, the grief you get from people, the egg throwing children element of society, let's just call them that, really. But you see it, and you just, I don't like bullies, but they're there. They're there. And let's hope the threat isn't real, because I did put all your names in piss with salt water, as Buddhist monk suggested, and flush the fuck out of mine enemies. The enemy has been trampled underfoot. The enemy has fled. Yeah.